What if the one gate sealed for centuries was never truly closed? In the heart of Jerusalem, behind layers of stone that have stood untouched since 1541, something has changed. The Golden Gate, long believed to remain shut until the return of Jesus Christ, is now at the center of a discovery no one expected in 2026. Beneath its sealed arch, researchers have uncovered evidence of an even older gateway, one buried so deep it predates empires, wars, and even the memory of those who tried to erase it. But here's where it turns unsettling. This hidden structure isn't just another layer of history. Its alignment, its construction, and what appears to be signs of intentional preservation are raising questions that historians can't easily explain. Why was it left intact? And more importantly, why does it seem like it was meant to be found now? Before we expose what researchers are just beginning to understand, hit like and subscribe, because some believe this is exactly the kind of discovery powerful institutions never wanted seen. For centuries, this gate has stood as a symbol of prophecy, silence, and expectation. Now with new technology peeling back, what time tried to hide, that silence is breaking. And what's emerging from beneath the Golden Gate isn't just ancient stone. It's a message. There are many urban legends in Jerusalem. Many of them have to do with the Golden Gate and the fact that it is closed. Why is it closed? It was sealed in stone 5 centuries ago, not by time, but by fear. They said it would remain shut until the Messiah returns. But now, something has changed. Deep within the ancient walls of Jerusalem, the Golden Gate, once silenced by empires, has partially opened. And if prophecy is true, then this is not just archaeology. It is the beginning of something divine. They call it the Golden Gate, but for centuries, it has been nothing more than stone and silence. Set in the eastern wall of Jerusalem's old city, the Golden Gate, also known as the Eastern Gate, or the Gate of Mercy, faces the Mount of Olives and looks down upon the ancient Kidron Valley. It does not open to traffic. It does not welcome tourists. It does not even creak with the wind because it is sealed, bricked shut, and untouched for over 480 years. But this is not just any gate. This gate carries weight, spiritual weight, both Jewish and Christian. Traditions believe that the Messiah will pass through this gate. For Christians, it is the place where Jesus entered Jerusalem before his crucifixion, fulfilling Zechariah's prophecy of a humble king riding on the donkey. For Jews, it is the entryway of the coming Redeemer who will restore Israel. And perhaps that is why in 1541, Suleiman the Magnificent, ruler of the Ottoman Empire, ordered it sealed stone. By stone, not with ceremony, but with strategy. Some believe he feared the prophecies. Others say he wanted to block any Jewish hope for deliverance, to ensure no priest or messianic figure could walk through it. A Muslim cemetery was built directly in front of the gate in the belief that no holy man would cross the dead. But if prophecy was meant to be prevented, why does it seem like history keeps pushing back? Because now, for the first time in generations, the inner chambers of the gate, once buried in silence, have reportedly been opened to worshippers. And whether by man or by miracle, this shift is awakening something ancient. The gate was not just closed for protection. It was sealed with intention. In Ezekiel 44:2, an ancient prophecy whispers through time. This gate is to remain shut because the Lord, the God of Israel, has entered through it. That statement alone changes everything. This was not the act of a king. It was a divine decree. According to many scholars, this prophecy points to the moment Jesus rode into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, crossing the Mount of Olives and entering through the Eastern Gate, fulfilling the vision laid out in Zechariah 9:9. But after that moment, something shifted. If the presence of the Lord entered through that gate, as Ezekiel wrote, then it was never meant to be opened again until he returns. And yet, Suleiman, unaware or defiant, did what prophecy had already foretold. He sealed it shut, believing he could stop what was written. But in doing so, he may have fulfilled it instead. Time and again, others have tried to undo what God may have ordained. In 1917, as Muslim leaders prepared to demolish the gate entirely, British forces unexpectedly took control of Jerusalem, halting the plan. In 1967, during the Six-Day War, Israeli leaders considered reopening it, but a respected rabbi warned them, only the Messiah may open that gate. History has tried to interfere, but something has always resisted, like invisible hands holding the stones in place. And now, with the inner passage reportedly accessible for the first time in centuries, we are left to ask, was this man's decision, or has God allowed a door to crack as a sign? Jerusalem has many gates. Some have been destroyed, some rebuilt, others renamed and forgotten. But the Golden Gate does not behave like the rest. It has become a symbol of defiance, not against man, but against time itself. Every attempt to tamper with it seems to echo back with consequences, as if unseen forces are guarding what was sealed long ago. Even when peace treaties have been signed, the Eastern Gate has remained untouched. Even when bulldozers have carved new paths, no stone of this gate has been removed. Even when the world changes, this gate stays the same. And perhaps that is why what is happening now is so alarming. In 2019, reports emerged that the inner chamber of the gate, the part hidden behind centuries of brick and silence, was quietly opened. Not to kings, not to generals, but to worshippers. Photos circulated, videos leaked. Some showed people praying inside the once sealed vestibule. Others suggested ongoing renovations. Behind the walls, authorities offered no clear explanation. But for prophecy watchers, this was not politics. It was not coincidence. It was a signal. Because Scripture says this gate was shut because God had entered through it. And if it is starting to open again, even from the inside, then the question that has lingered for generations becomes urgent. Is he coming back soon? Because a gate like this does not move on its own. And if it does, it means something, or someone is approaching. The stones of Jerusalem have always spoken through scars, carvings, and ancient dust. But the Golden Gate speaks without ever opening its mouth. It speaks through its stillness, through its refusal to change, through the hands that have tried to move it and failed. There was a time when leaders believed they controlled history, that they could seal a gate, build a wall, or redraw borders, and in doing so, contain prophecy. But the Golden Gate has outlived them all. No other gate in the world has resisted change like this one. The Ottomans bricked it shut. The Crusaders once opened it, only for it to be sealed again. Muslim leaders tried to raise it. Israeli forces debated unlocking it. Each time, the story paused. Each time, the gate remained. And then came 2019, when the silence inside broke for the first time in centuries. The outer face remained sealed, still strong and unmoving. But the inner side, behind the stones, was accessed quietly, almost like a whisper. Those who entered did not bring swords or scrolls. They brought prayers. What does it mean when the heart of a gate is opened, but its face remains sealed? Could it be a spiritual message, not yet visible to the world, but already awakening inside? If the gate itself is a clock, then the hands may have just shifted, not striking midnight, not yet, but moving. And prophecy does not shout. It does not tweet or broadcast. It whispers. And this whisper came from the inside of a wall once thought untouchable. Directly across from the Golden Gate lies the Mount of Olives, a quiet slope, scattered with olive trees and ancient graves. But this mountain is more than geography. It is the stage. In Zechariah 14, it is written that when the Lord returns, his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, and it will split in two. This is not metaphor. This is location-specific prophecy, and the gate that faces it is no accident. The mount and the gate are perfectly aligned, one looking into the other like a mirror from eternity. It is not poetic. It is strategic, as if Jerusalem was built to prepare for one moment. In his first coming, Jesus approached from this very mountain. He rode down its slope, across the Kidron Valley, and entered the city. Not through any of the southern or western gates, but through this one, the one that was never meant to open again until his return. That entry was not a parade. It was a prophetic signal. And now, with rumors of the gate's interior awakening and global attention shifting once again to Jerusalem's east, that alignment matters because this gate does not face Rome. It does not face Mecca. It does not face Washington. It faces the place where his feet will stand. And if prophecy is true, if the geography matters, then this is not just old stone. It is a door, one that was closed for a reason, and one that may be preparing to open for a purpose. What happens next is not about politics. It is about timing, and only one figure is worthy to walk through that gate. 2 religions, 2 timelines, 1 gate. For Jews, the Golden Gate is where the long-awaited Messiah will enter to restore the kingdom of Israel, to reign in peace, and to bring justice to the nations. For Christians, it is the gate through which Jesus already entered, and the one he will enter again, not in humility, but in glory. What is astonishing is this: both agree the gate is tied to a divine return. That kind of unity is rare, but this gate carries it. It is known in Hebrew tradition as Sha'ar Harakamim, the gate of mercy. Not wrath, not war, mercy. That alone suggests something beyond politics or empire. It hints at redemption, and while beliefs differ in form, they align in timing. Both traditions expect that the gate will open when the end of the age approaches, and that when it opens, everything changes. This shared expectation is what makes the recent activity so spiritually significant. The idea that the inner passage, once sealed, has been accessed has sent ripples through both communities. Some say it is just a renovation. Others believe it is a foreshadowing. If you believe the gate opens with the Messiah, then a gate cracking open could mean he is closer than we think. And if both Jews and Christians are watching the same gate, waiting for the same event, then this is not coincidence. It is convergence. Throughout history, men have tried to control what God has declared. They have drawn borders with blood, rewritten laws with fear, and built barriers where prophecy said a king would walk. But every time they touched the Golden Gate, something pushed back. In the early 1900s, Muslim leaders under Ottoman rule planned to demolish the gate altogether. The orders were signed. The date was set. But on the very day it was to happen, Jerusalem fell to British forces, and the plan vanished in the smoke of a power shift no one expected. Again, in 1967, during the Six-Day War, Israeli forces surged through the Old City. They had the tools, the authority, and the opportunity to unseal the gate, but they did not. Why? A respected religious leader advised them, only the Messiah may open this gate, and so they stepped back. These were not passive delays. These were moments of restraint, as if unseen hands were holding the door closed, waiting for a specific hour. Even the construction of the Muslim cemetery in front of the gate, designed to prevent a priestly figure from crossing, may have been a strategic human move. But if prophecy is true, it was also futile, because when the king returns, no wall, grave, or empire will stand in his way. The world thinks it can pause prophecy, delay it, or redirect it. But you cannot shut what God has sealed, and you cannot stop what he has set in motion. And now, the motion has begun again. Prophecy does not always arrive with thunder. Sometimes it moves in silence, in shadows, in the shifting of stone beneath centuries of dust. And that is what makes the recent change in the Golden Gate so powerful. It was not loud. It was not announced on global news. There was no press conference, just a quiet opening. The gate remained sealed from the outside, as it has been since 1541. But now the inner chamber, long closed to the public, has become accessible. No bulldozers, no explosions, just a door opened from within. Is it coincidence, maintenance, a mistake, or is it something more? Because Jesus did not say his return would come with clear schedules or press alerts. He said it would come like it was in the days of Noah, when people were distracted, unaware, and living normally until the rain began to fall. He said to watch, not to wonder, to stay awake, not to speculate. Because when he returns, it will not be subtle. Every eye will see him. He will come with the clouds. The nations will mourn. But before the king arrives, there are signs. And some signs come in stillness, like a sealed gate suddenly stirring. Not broken, but breathing. Not destroyed, but waking. The watchers of prophecy, the ones who do not need headlines to see the patterns, are now leaning in. Because what is happening may not be the fulfillment itself, but it may be the whisper that comes just before the trumpet sounds. The 2026 discovery. What lies beneath? And now in 2026, the whisper has grown louder. Researchers and scholars studying the eastern wall of the Temple Mount have published new findings that are shaking the academic and theological world alike. Archaeological analysis, building on centuries of fragmentary observations, has confirmed what many had long suspected. The Golden Gate, as it stands today, is not the original gate. It was built directly on top of an older one, and that older gate, buried beneath the medieval stonework and centuries of earth, dates to the period of the First Temple, possibly as far back as the time of King Solomon himself. This discovery did not come from digging. It came from studying what was already there. Ancient stone courses at the base of the eastern wall, massive ashlar blocks predating even the Herodian expansion, and the preserved remnants of archways buried deep within the earth in front of the gate. Taken together, they paint a picture of a sacred threshold that has existed in one form or another for nearly 3,000 years. Every empire that came to Jerusalem found this gate already standing. Every one of them either sealed it, opened it, or built over it, but none of them ever erased it. Scholars at the Athens Bible Church Research Group publishing in early 2026 noted that the layering of the Eastern Wall reveals a physical timeline of Jerusalem's history, with each era building upon the last, yet always returning to the same spot. The gate has moved in name, in form, and in ruler, but never in location. It has always faced the Mount of Olives. It has always been the first thing you see when you stand on that ancient slope and look toward the city. What makes this 2026 finding spiritually significant to prophecy watchers is not just the age of the buried gate, it is the alignment. The ancient gate beneath sits on the same axis as the current one, perfectly aimed at the summit of the Mount of Olives, the exact spot where Zechariah says the Lord's feet will stand at his return. That alignment was not an accident of Byzantine architecture. It was not the decision of an Ottoman sultan. It predates all of them. It was there before the Crusaders, before Islam, before Rome. It was there when Solomon built the first temple and stood at the threshold to watch the priests carry out their duties. For thousands of years, that axis has remained unbroken. And in 2026, for the first time, scholars are documenting it with the kind of precision that makes coincidence impossible to claim. Those who dismiss the Golden Gate as a religious myth have always pointed to the fact that it is just a gate built by men, sealed by men, and perfectly explainable by politics and architecture. But this latest discovery makes that argument harder to hold because this gate was built on top of another gate which was built on the ruins of yet another. All of them pointing east, all of them facing the same mountain, all of them waiting. And waiting is not inactivity, it is preparation. The outer face of this Golden Gate still stands sealed, unchanged since the mortar was laid in 1541. No bulldozer has touched it. No political agreement has unlocked it. No army has forced it open, but the inner chambers breathe. The archaeology beneath it speaks, and the mountain across the valley watches in silence. Some see the Golden Gate as a relic. Others, especially in 2026, are beginning to see it as a countdown. A clock without numbers marking time, not with hours, but with fulfillments. A gate that has resisted every empire. A gate whose deepest roots stretch back to the age of Solomon. A gate whose inner passage has quietly opened for the first time in centuries. A gate that faces the exact mountain where prophecy says the King of Kings will plant his feet. This gate does not tick, it waits. And if what lies beneath it is as old as the prophets, then perhaps what is coming through it is as certain as their words. For believers, this is not fear. It is a signal, a reminder that Jesus said to be ready. He never gave a date. He gave signs. He said, "When you see these things begin to happen, lift up your heads, for your redemption is drawing near." This gate was never just about bricks and mortar. It has always been about timing, and the one whose arrival will change everything, whose feet will stand on that mountain across the valley, is the only one worthy to walk through it. The Golden Gate is still sealed, but it is not sleeping. The stones are old, but they are not quiet, and the question that has echoed for centuries is now louder than ever. Will you be ready when it opens?